Right now, Africa's growth and prosperity depends heavily on solving the continent's energy poverty. That's according to Mineral Resources Minister and Energy Minister Gwede Mantashe. Speaking at the Africa Energy Week, Mantashe stressed that 43% of the continent's population does not have access to electricity. But how exactly can African leaders come together in solving the energy crisis? Let's discuss this further with one of the speakers at the Africa Energy Week, Zion Adebayo. He's the Managing Director of the Centurion Law Group. Thank you so much, Zion, for your time here on eNCA, and good afternoon to you. Of course, the number, I think we keep saying it over and over again on eNCA because it's so unbelievable in 2022 that 600 million Africans in this continent have they don't even have the experience of having electricity in their homes. Surely that's unacceptable. Do you think that this annual event will eventually help us?
You know, that's exactly the issue. And for once, Africans are coming together, you know, under this umbrella, the trusted African Energy Chamber, to determine Africa's future in terms of energy access. And leading up to COP27, Africa has come up with a single voice to say African development for the long term is our priority. We understand the issues around the environment and would also take whatever it is our responsibility to ensure that, you know, climate change issues are solved as well. But never again do we want the relief of the world to be disproportionately placed on the back of Africans. So Africans are coming together, talking about financing the energy industry, talking about infrastructure and other matters that are very important to African development for the future.
And in terms of the future, do you agree with our Minister of Energy and Mineral Resources saying that we should consider nuclear?
Absolutely. I mean, the word is energy. So whatever serves the purpose, you said it as well, 640 million Africans do not have access to electricity. That's 85% of the European population. And this is a young population within Africa that could actually be contributing quota to the world. So African development is global development as well. And for as long as we do not put that in perspective, I think the opportunities for Africa to actually improve the positioning of the world will continue to be lost.
And we're such a rich continent, really, if we look at it in terms of minerals and resources. We really are a very wealthy continent, but we're still, the countries here are still amongst the poorest. We still have too many people struggling in this continent. So what do you think it is? Is it because of a lack of political will by the different leaders in this continent?
I think us as Africans not coming together in the past, we've kind of been pieced apart. If you think about foreign investment in quote, and it's eccentric in the sense that it's a profit-driven setup. And when it comes to what Africa should be doing by themselves to harness their resources, Africa is not only rich in terms of resources for now, but we're rich in terms of resources for the future. Cobalt, lithium, copper, all of those things will be key. So we need to have a rally. We need to have that discussion amongst ourselves that how do we present ourselves to the world? We need to deal with some sort of issues as well, free flow of goods and people across the continent. We really need to have a system that competes directly against the rest of the world. For as long as we are pieced apart, Africa would not be able to really leverage its collective strength to get the best deal for Africa.
And of course, this event is also about, investor confidence. It's about luring the investor to come to Africa and assist us with our energy crisis. Do you think it'll achieve this?
Absolutely. And, feedback and also the subscription in terms of involvement and engagement at this event has been excellent. And big ups to the African Energy Chamber for the amazing job done. I think Africans trust this rally and, we're coming with one voice. There would be a COP27 event, happening today to present one particular voice for Africa that will be taken there. And in terms of financing, I think the message has also been put out there that we must be doing all we can and not only relying on, foreign investment, because there's a lot of potential to pool resources, pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, harnessing infrastructure development to ensure that these things are not wasted, to ensure that it envisages subscription by other nations, and the go it alone strategy not working. All those have been realized, and I believe Africans are really now getting the message. And this has been a very successful event, and I think that we will see the results in the coming years.
Just lastly, Mr. Adebayo, have you gotten to the bottom of the reason why we haven't been able to do it ourselves in Africa? I mean, we are in the perfect continent for solar energy. We have the perfect heat and sunlight to be able to actually create our own energy to solve our own energy crisis. So have you gotten to the bottom of why we didn't consider things like that ourselves and not wait for events like this to start now begging the international world to bail us out?
Well, I think convergence, I mean, you have to aggregate your strengths. Look at the European Union determining their fate as a community. It's important because you have very large economies who have gone ahead. Would you be competing with in terms of financing, in terms of positioning? And it's important for Africa to leverage its population strength, its resources, come together as one market to actually shape the future of Africa collectively. What the African Energy Chamber has done successfully is to make Africans see reasons to come together, and I think that's just the secret. One problem we do not have in Africa is the resources to solve our problems. And that should actually be 100% of the problem. So if 100% of the problem is out of there, then we shouldn't have a problem in terms of energy access, in terms of development. So we shouldn't look back. We should, look forward. Now we're getting it. And I think in the next couple of years, all of the infrastructure projects going on and all of the collaboration across the continent will pay huge dividends.
And I guess the secret here is unity. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on eNCA. That was Zion Adebayo. He's the Managing Director at Centurion Law Group.